Hi there, and welcome to the very first video in our training series about writing for the internet. My name is Nicole Colwell. I am the owner of Colwell Creative Content. I'm a professional writer. It's something I've been doing for businesses since 2012. And I just want to give you a little introduction of how I started doing this, why I started a company, and what that might mean for you. So I love to write my whole life. I started when I was 10, writing stories for my friends, and that continued. Um, as an adult, I published 3 books on Amazon before I started writing for businesses. I've published one since then, and another one is in the works right now. So, but that's what I kind of do on the side. Most of what I do is writing for businesses for the internet. And it's something that I kind of stumbled across back in 2017 when I first got married to my husband. We wanted me to stay home and we wanted to try to figure out a way for me to make some money. Um, I signed up for a ton of things. I don't even know what I signed up for. Um, but we never really found the right fit for me. So I ended up going back to work eventually. And then I was working as an office manager at this local business. And the owner of the business, she started mentally abusing me. Um, there were days I would come home at night and my husband would say, "You look like a battered woman." I would be crying. It was terrible. So things kind of just continued to get worse with this woman and her husband. He was kind of being mean to me too. Um, and eventually it got to the point where my anxiety was so bad that I was talking to my husband on my lunch break and he said, "Go home." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he wanted me to quit. He wanted me to walk out and go home and be done. So I'd put up with it a lot by that point, so that's what I did. Um, so I went home. I frantically started putting in resumes and sending them out to different places because I couldn't believe that I just quit my job the way that I did. Um, but then I realized I needed to not do that and just take some time, and it was going to be okay. And it was maybe about a week after that I got an email from this company that apparently I had signed up to write for back in 2007, and it was 2012 by this point, so that's 5 years prior. Um, and the email basically said, "Hey, you signed up for this. Are you going to do anything with it, or what's going on here?" So I didn't know if it was legitimate. I mean, you hear so many things about scams online. So I said, "Well, I'm not doing anything anyway. I'll write something." So I wrote a really short piece about Halloween costumes for a client on that site. And they paid me. I waited until they said their pay period was coming, and then they paid me $3.56. And I thought, well, if they're going to pay me, then I can do this. There's way more jobs on this site. So the next time I got paid, it was $153, and then the next time it was 200 and something, and it just kept going and going and going, and it grew to where I began getting my own clients and not working as much on an online platform. And through word of mouth and through, some divine connections that were made, I managed to build quite a business. And it's continuing to grow. And that is why I am making this training series. It's possible to make a full-time income doing what I do. In, I think it was 2015, I was able to retire my husband from his job driving a truck. He was just a local delivery driver, but he was working insane hours and breaking his back every single day for these companies that he worked for. So I was able to retire him from that, and now he drives a school bus, um, which is perfect. He gets to do that, and he has his own little side hustle that he does too. But the bulk of our income for our home is from my business. So it is possible to build a business of your own, and I would love to help you do that. And I can, I can kind of show you the ropes as we go along. But I want to make sure that before we take that step, that you know how to write for the internet. Anyone can do what I do if they know how to write. And when I say that, I mean sentences, capital letters, punctuation, appropriate punctuation, short paragraphs. If you know how to write, you can do this, and I can teach you how. Anyone can do what I do if they're willing to take some chances. The first year that I did this, I made $11,000. I started in March of that year, so I didn't have a whole year to make that, but that was the income that we put on our tax returns. It was 11,000. So that was just starting out. But at that time, I also had a toddler son at home that I was taking care of, so that affected things too. But if I had not had him at home at that time, if he'd been a little bit older and been in school, then I might have been able to make even more than that. Anyone can do what I do if they remain coachable. I'm still learning things from my clients. I'm learning new things about search engine optimization all the time, and I have to adjust the way that I work. So if you're willing to be coachable and you're willing to make the changes that you need to make in your writing to fit what your client is asking you to do, then you will do very well with this. And finally, anyone can do what I do if they remain flexible. The flexibility means, sometimes you might have to write super early in the morning, or you might have a deadline coming up, but you couldn't get to it today. So you're going to write your piece tonight, and then you'll have it ready for tomorrow. Flexibility is very important in this business. Sorry about that. I'm also homeschooling at the same time I do this. So if you hear things in the background, and that was just my son's alarm to turn his movie off, then, that's the way it is. So in this training, we're going to talk about what is search engine optimization. We're going to talk about what are keywords and why do they matter. We're going to talk about links and how you use them properly when you're writing. We're going to talk about the right way to construct a blog post. And then we're going to talk about what happens after the post is written. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. And hopefully you're still with me and you still want to learn. And if so, go ahead and move on to the next video. We're going to talk about what is search engine optimization. Thanks, and I'm really glad you're here.